So, when I first started performing the naked Mennonite, it was running a solid 65 plus minutes every single time. I tried to pare that back because my time slot was only 60 minutes, and I tried to pare it back by talking faster, which was just resulted in a more rushed delivery, and then people were less responsive because they had to just really pay attention in order to catch everything I was saying. Wasn't a good tactic. And then the pressure to cut the show back got increased even more this year when I was working a festival where I only had 50 minutes, 50, in my time slot. And unfortunately, I had to make the tough call to cut out one of my favorite parts of the show. It's Professor Peter's, the first part of his Mennonite history class that covers from Genesis through to the creation of the Roman Catholic Church. I included that part just to, show the casual audience member what it means to believe that the Bible is literally true, but then also just to flex my Bible knowledge muscles just a little bit, just to say that I know a little bit of something here. And both of those goals were actually met already halfway through the run last year when I started doing a pre-show where I just come out while people are sitting, and then we just they give me Bible stories and I just talk about those for a little bit. So I had to make the tough call this year to cut out that part of the show, which was disappointing in part because that was a part of the show where my illustrations were projected up onto the wall, first using an old-timey slide projector that jammed more often than it worked. It was really expensive to source a slide projector and also to create print slides. That's not cheap, but eventually I replaced that with an overhead transparency, which was a better product anyways, and now I've had to just cut it entirely. But I thought maybe I could at least share that deleted scene online, and so that everyone can enjoy my beautiful illustrations that I am so proud of. So please enjoy Professor Peter's intro to Mennonite philosophy from Genesis to the creation of the Roman Catholic Church. Approximately 6,000 years ago, God created everything. That timeline is clearly laid out for us in the genealogy of Jesus found in Luke chapter 3. Don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. Now, everything in God's creation was perfect until it wasn't. Eventually, God created Adam and Eve, and they introduced sin into the world. So God punished them by sending them out of the Garden of Eden. Eventually, Adam and Eve had children, the first two of whom were Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel, so God cursed him, sent him away to the land of Nod, where he got married and began to build a city, as one does. We don't know who he married, but we do know that she was a woman, so she really doesn't matter to the story whatsoever. Now, all of this was according to God's perfect plan. 10 generations later, God looked down at the earth and saw that it was wicked from top to bottom and everywhere in between, and that it all had to go. The men, the women, the children, the unborn children, even the animals had to go. Except the fish. The fish were fine. And Noah and his family, they were righteous, so they could stick around. Oh, and God needed 2 of every type of animal that was on the face of the earth. Yes, penguins had to waddle from Antarctica to the Middle East. To us, it's complicated. To God, it's simple. Just have faith. Now, after God finished lovingly committing global genocide, the waters went away. And Noah disembarked the ark, and he coped with his PTSD by getting drunk off of homemade wine and passing out naked. So already creation 2.0 was getting off to a kinky start. All of this was according to God's plan. Now, 10 generations after that, God looked down at the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he saw that they were wicked, the tops, the bottoms, and everyone in between. So he sent down 2 angels to see just how wicked Sodom was. As these 2 angels were wandering around, the only righteous person in town, Lot, came, saw the angels, and invited them home to show them hospitality. While they were doing that, all of the men of Sodom came and banged on Lot's door. That's not all they wanted to bang. And Lot went out to them and pleaded with them, saying, "My friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters here who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can..." So the angels threw their invisibility cloak over Lot and his family and got them out of that evil, fabulous city before God destroyed it. All of this happened according to God's plan. Now, eventually, God chose the Israelites as his special people. Unfortunately, at the time, they were enslaved in Egypt, so God chose Moses to go to Egypt and set his people free, one of the most important missions in history. While Moses was on this important mission, God came down to earth to kill Moses. But his wife was a quick thinker, so she took a knife, she took the tip of their son's penis, chopped it off, and touched it to the bottom of Moses' feet, and that day God changed his mind. So eventually Pharaoh did release the Hebrew people, and they went to Mount Sinai, and they received from God the 613 commandments, also known as the 10 Commandments. God gave his people these rules so that they would know how to not displease him ever again. And the Israelites did not want to displease God ever again, so they made an extra set of rules to surround those original rules so that no one would ever come close to breaking God's commandments ever again and displeasing God. And unfortunately, this displeased God. But rather than killing everyone, God decided to try something new. He came down to earth and impregnated a teenage girl without consent. So eventually, Mary gave birth to God so that he could sacrifice himself to himself in order to create a loophole whereby some of the people God cared about would be saved from an eternity in hell, but not everyone. So Jesus died to save those he elected to save, was in the grave for either 1.5 or 3 days, depending on where you're reading, then came back for 40 days of secret celebration that nobody remembered any details about. Then he ascended to heaven. That's when Saul came on the scene. Not Old Testament Saul, the one who was pissing in a cave and David cut off the corner of his cloak. No, this is New Testament Saul. He came to Jerusalem, changed his name to Paul, then went to Jesus' friends, family, and followers and explained to them that Jesus wasn't Jewish. And after 32 years, they found this to be a bit of a shock. It had never come up before. Paul explained that Jesus was actually a Christian and he wanted the entire world to be Christian. So then Rome adopted Christianity as the one religion to rule them all, and anybody they didn't kill, they converted to their state religion. And that's how the Roman Catholic Church was born.